Diana, Fergie, Meghan, those are the women that were the most outspoken. The minute these women have opinions is the minute they lose public popularity. And to be a popular female in the royal family, you've got to keep your mouth shut.
The press turned against Meghan soon after the engagement because she mentions Me Too.
Oh, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
And that completely threw her off, I think, because I think she saw the royal family as a platform to communicate the causes that she was really, really passionate about and the activism that she'd been doing since she was 11 years old. And she thought this would be a great opportunity. But no, because we have to, when we're in the royal family, they have to be sanitised, signed off charities that have that little, they're kept in a little box where they are. They're the pretty women on the arm that only say nice, polite things. And that is crucial to their success, because look what happened when Fergie spoke out, when Diana spoke out, and now Meghan.
Yeah.
The thing that I found absolutely incredible, the most recent example before the documentary, was at the Queen's funeral when Meghan reached to hold Harry's hand. The reaction in the press was akin to as if she had committed a heinous crime. I think it made about 3 different front pages.
It did. It was wild.
That she held her husband's hand.
And they're overly touchy-feely. It was a public display of affection.
It was called a disgrace, shameful, inappropriate. And I think some of the language used, I can't imagine being applied to a man, such as she's so in love with herself. Oh, she makes everything about her. And we were talking about it outside. Is there ever been a man where they've said, oh, we make it all about him, but then we remember Boris Johnson. We took it back a bit. But, you know, that language, attention-seeking, narcissist.
Yeah.
These seem to be applied more commonly than enough to women.
She's the crazy woman.
Look, she is. And, you know,
attention seeker.
I listen to Archetypes.
Yes, it's so good.
Isn't it?
Archetypes is what? You have to explain.
Yes, Archetypes is Meghan's podcast that she does with Spotify. And each week or each episode, she addresses different labels that women are given and why. And she just investigates that. Crazy woman.
Hysterical.
Essentially, each different layer or form that misogyny can come in.
Yeah.
So she's very self-aware. She's a clever, smart woman, and I've been baffled and astounded by the reaction of the press.
I can see with somebody like Piers Morgan, he feels snubbed. He's got a good sense of animating other people's hatred. He's been on Meghan's case for years, right from the beginning, almost. When is he feeding off something that's genuine in the public or creating it?
Well, what is genuine in the public? What actual... In the whole documentary, did she say anything negative about an individual? Did she say, even about her own family, even about her own father, who exploited her for cash? She didn't really say anything negative about him. She just described what happened to her. Now, the public reaction to Meghan Markle has been infinitely... had the absolute... hatred, the visceral hatred of the public in a way that someone like Prince Andrew has not even nearly received.
He was a joke, right? They sort of twisted it to be funny. It was like, oh, his greatest mistake was doing that stupid interview where he was bumbling along, and it was like, no,
There's a photograph, you know, of him with an underage girl. I mean, you know, that's...
Yeah, exactly.
There's a series of
That's a silly thing to do, just a silly thing.
Oh, no, but, well, yeah, it was ridiculous. And
boys will be boys.
And it's so embarrassing, but, you know, he's just that uncle.
Yet a woman with a voice is the thing that, according to today's Daily Mail, is going to bring down the monarchy.
Yes.
Not having... someone who's associated with a sex offender in the royal family.
Neither of them said anything particularly damning, in any way damning about the royal family. Most of it was self-deprecating. The most extreme version of anything that he said was, he said that some of my family suffer from or are guilty of unconscious bias when it comes to race, which we all are.
Well, he said he was.
He was. Shock horror. Well, and the front pages are all smears against the racist royal family.
This whole smearing the royal family. I feel like we have, I feel the British public on the whole have this real sentimentality about this perfection of this royal family, and they want to project this illusion because they find that comforting. They are perfect. They are brilliant. And so any criticism, they somehow end up taking it personally.
There are many women commentators on there who will target her.
Yeah.
So are they like undercover agents for the patriarchy? Is this just the attraction of money? Why is
I think
is
there-
it? Or is it anti-Americanism with a touch of racism? The female part of the solidarity goes
No.
because of her being an American.
There is a lot of internalised misogyny going on, particularly in the right-wing press. I think this is summed up really well by the reaction to the curtsy.
Yeah,
Do you know about
we spoke about that earlier, yeah.
I think Sarah Vine said, absolute disgrace, abomination to our culture and our tradition.
Yeah, she basically said that if it was the other way around, it would have been considered racist because you're mocking a culture. Very interesting with her particularly, Sarah Vine, because I was a women's rights activist, have been for years, and I campaigned to have legislation changed around sex discrimination codes so that women could wear flat shoes to work. She called me vacuous. She said I was an attention seeker. I got the Meghan treatment.
The classics.
I got the classic Meghan treatment. They used a photograph of me stood outside West.
Were you in a bikini?
No, I was in a red dress, and she called me an eye-catchingly tight red dress, a lady in red, blah, blah, blah. A few months ago, she wrote a piece on why women should all wear trainers to the office.
Mm-hmm.
So
And this is the space of 5 years.
So this is using the language of misogyny,
Yes.
the kind of language men like her boss Paul Dacre might use, but internalised it, and it's helping her career. Obviously, it hasn't helped her marriage.
Yeah, and it's It's this kind of, I went through it, so you should have to go through it. Why should you complain? Then we go back to the royal family.
Yes.
The older generations of women going, well, we had to behave like this, so Meghan, why can't you? And exactly what
And
Harry's...
Kate had to go through this, so why can't Meghan? What Kate went through, I think, is appalling.
I would never... It's so interesting how often this gets polarised, and it's either your team Harry and Meghan or your team Kate and Wills. I don't want to criticise Kate or say anything negative about her.
We don't really know anything about her.
They create the opposition, the good one, the bad one.
Exactly.
The
Women,
virgin, the whore, the classic stuff.
The classic woman versus woman. But to look at her journey, just sort of, and I hate people who overanalyse body language as well, but I can't help but comment on the fact or notice the fact that she has looked different since she met William and seems to have been going quieter and quieter and quieter, and she almost seems like she's fading.
Can I just say, Nicola, you're wearing white. You know that's...
White, yeah.
Meghan's not allowed to wear white.
Yeah.
No, it's doing something. It's destroying British culture.